Hello and welcome to another update video about Polygon MATIC. Polygon currently recovering a little bit after the drop yesterday, but the ascending trend line did hold. As I said, I would expect it to hold, but we haven't moved away from it yet, so it's a bit too early to be happy about it, and to be euphoric. But what I told you in the previous video, what I think we see here on the chart is that we began back in July here with a new wave 1. Came down in a wave 2 here to roughly $1, and that we are still in a wave 3, which will be completed when that smaller scale wave will be completed. So 1, 2, and we are still in the wave 3 because you have then had several subwaves within it. So this, for example, couldn't be a wave 3, this couldn't be a wave 4 because we came down too much. So based on that, you basically then have to restart your wave count here for a smaller degree wave. You get another 1, 2, and even below that you have another 1, 2, because again we came down too low. So this would actually be the beginning of another 1, 2, 3. Now come down too far, so it's another 1, 2. So it gets quite complex here, this structure, and the more 1, 2s you get, the more bullish it can be, but also the less likely it is that there actually is a bullish scenario. Because if you get too many of these 1, 2s, well, first of all, it will create a massively good foundation for a bull run, but then also the bulls now really need to start, the buyers really need to start and push the price above $3. That could then lead us easily to $4. But what I don't like, and I did mention it before, is this structure that we see here with these strong retracements. It just doesn't look very bullish overall. Yes, but especially up here where you have these strong retracements, and then the most recent one, if I zoom in, you have here a higher low, then you have a higher low, a higher high, and now a lower high, and you even came down below, below the previous high, and you came down below the ascending trend line for a bit. So I don't really like it, and this makes an alternative scenario quite likely, to be honest, which would indicate, which is basically based on what Bitcoin is doing as well. So based on this alternative scenario, didn't want to do that. Based on this alternative scenario, what I showed you before as well, that would indicate that we have, if I go to the left here and to that peak back in May, that we have here something like a large A, B, and a C correction into an area down there. So this is pretty much what a lot of other cryptos are doing as well. At the moment, this wave B is still valid, even though it would sit above the previous wave high, above the previous impulse. It would be an overshooting wave B, pretty much what Bitcoin has done as well. So it's important to be aware of this scenario. In this scenario, we would drop below 145, and we would possibly even drop below $1, in the wave C sell-off. That's just something definitely to be aware of, and this is a very likely scenario. I think it's less likely than the bullish one, but I need to show it to you. And to be honest, for everybody who followed my buy and sell orders that you can find on Discord for channel members, this wouldn't be a problem, because what we would have done, we bought down here in this region here at 196 was one sell order that buy order that triggered, and one buy order triggered at 178. And even here back then, when I talked about this being my target area, anybody who took a trade from here when we touched the target area would have temporarily been in 100% profit. But back then I didn't publish any buy orders yet on Discord. I only recently started that. So when we hit this area, the buy order triggered. Already a sell order triggered here at 290, very, very accurately at the top. Now we have dropped for anything that would still be in the trade, if not everything has been taken as profit yet, then everybody could just pull up a stop loss. That's what I would do, pulling up the stop loss to make sure that should the price drop, that at least everything is sort of taken care of, that there will be no loss. That is one way of doing it. There's a good way of doing it in my view, because if anybody took the trade down here, the long position, and maybe even didn't take profits up there, or maybe did but not everything, then a stop loss could just be pulled up. So in order to make sure that if the price should really drop down lower than the original buy order, that then profits are taken. And should the price go back into this region here, then the buy order could be triggered again. You know, buy orders can be, you know, set several times. Because technically we could still find support here and then move up from here. You know, this is all where the timing of buying and sell orders comes into play and how important it is, and then using stop losses as well. So in that sense, nothing can actually be lost for anybody who took actually that long position down here. Ideally, you know, the sell order was triggered here as well. For me, it was at 290, accurately at the top. Personally, I'm not going to open another long position here because for me it's now too risky, because we could fall quite far, you know, especially based on that ABC scenario. I think this was, for me, an area where I was happy to take the trade, because we came down. It was quite likely back here when we were up here, and I told you that in my view we are going to come down from here now and possibly into this target area, which again was based on fibs. I did set 2 buy orders in there. They were triggered. The support did hold. We moved up a lot from here. This was from 178 where the order triggered to when the other order triggered at 290. That was a 65% in a few days. Really nice. But because of these strong retracements, I have some doubts. Now, the bearish scenario will be invalidated above $3. So I have no problem with waiting now until we break above $3 and then possibly go in again long. But I will need to see how the structure looks back then. But then the bearish scenario would be far less likely and would actually be invalidated on the chart. And then only this bullish scenario would be actually the most likely one. But overall, yeah, it seems to be working out. Sometimes it's just important to be patient, not just going in at minor dips, but that's just what I do. Anybody who wants to go in here long, you know, that's up to you, of course. But again, I would secure this with a stop loss somewhere below these EMAs here, maybe below the 13-day EMA, below the previous low that we had. We had a few wicks coming down all the way to 240. So I would make sure I would set it below this technical target of the EMA here probably. I think that would be quite a good one, possibly even below this fib level here at 218, but that would be quite a bit of a drop until that one triggers. But that's up to you how you want to set this. Personally, I think, as I said before, primarily I think we are going to go up from here. I think the bullish scenario is more likely than the bearish one, but I understand that the bearish one is still a likely option. And buying up here, I'm not too happy about. I was quite happy to buy it down here. And now I'm just need to wait and see how this is going to play out. Currently, this ascending trend line is holding, which is important, which is good for now. The ascending trend line is pretty much at 250 at the moment, or even at 253. Just below that, we've got here at 251, the 1.272 fib level, the extension level from the previous high. So that is an important one. And if we can hold that, I think we can push up higher from here. But of course, the price to some degree depends on Bitcoin as well, which probably therefore doesn't make this chart look easier and less complex, because Bitcoin is quite volatile at the moment. So even though this could really be a very, very bullish move up, the structure is sort of getting made a little bit more difficult and more complex by Bitcoin's moves up and down, which you can also see in the MATIC chart at some point. But overall, MATIC is doing something different here generally than Bitcoin. I mean, we are now here, we were in all-time high territory, which Bitcoin wasn't here in this wave up. So yeah, it is sort of decoupled from Bitcoin to a degree, which is not too common at the moment. But yeah, it's sort of obviously on the short term still influenced by Bitcoin's ups and downs, if that makes any sense. And yeah, in summary, you know, the wave structure indicates further upside from here, but with a bearish scenario, which is also not too unlikely. Nevertheless, anybody who took here the advantage of the buy and sell orders is in a good shape here. And personally, I would wait here to go in until we have a clearer chart picture. That's sometimes what trading looks like. Just need to be a bit patient and see what happens, just to avoid any risky thingies, you know. And anybody who can't sit on their hands could take a position here long position I would take, but then I would put a stop loss down there just to make sure that in case it can drop, and it could drop quite far, that we then secured and everything is sort of taken care of. So hopefully you liked the update about Polygon MATIC. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you want to take a look at my buy and sell orders for various cryptos that I cover on this channel, please check out my website. You can find a link in the description. There you can find the link to the membership, or there's also a YouTube membership that will give you the same extras, and you can join on YouTube, and you can find the join button next to the subscribe button. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.